Alright, hey guys, Oliver Moran here. So I'm doing a side-by-side comparison and a review of the Quick Twitch and Killer Buzz hubs. I've been using them now for a little bit, so I've got some feedback of my experiences using them, riding them pretty hard for sprints, 8 meter start hill, and obviously try and jumps, cases here and there, and how they've held up, and yeah, what my decision on why I prefer one over the other, and hopefully you get a better idea of what you're looking for. All right, so what we have is the Quick Twitch. One's chrome, and the Killer Buzz. So, enough said, let's get into it. I'm going to start with the Killer Buzz. I rode the Killer Buzz for a few races. It's loud, first thing I noticed, so you don't have to worry, people know you're coming if you're behind them. It's good, sometimes they just get out of the way. Other times they can know that you're coming, but if you had silent hubs, you can just always listen to the commentator. That's something that you can do. But overall thoughts on this, the engagement, there is lots of play in the engagement, but the engagement's super reliable. So when I go for the side-by-side comparisons later, pretty much this has 72 points of engagement. So it is a little bit more play, but once you're on the gate, you can always just fix that quite easily by just putting it a little bit higher to what you want and then sliding that wheel forward. And you always get in the place that you need. But yeah, this hub's super cool. Loud, definitely loud, but who doesn't like a loud rear hub? Makes your bike sound pretty cool. Okay, the Quick Twitch. My initial thoughts of this, it's simple, poor ratchet system, so I've ridden ratchet systems my whole life. I like the feel of them, the sound, a little bit quieter. Sounds cool. Yeah, so I've paired this with the carbon hubs, so maybe that makes it a little more desirable for me, because overall it's a little bit lighter, the wheel. But once I get into the specs later between the two, you can make your own decision. And also this has the 20mm dropout, so it fits into the rear hub, the rear of the frame much easier. Compared to the Killer Buzz, which has a 15mm, and you can add an insert to make it fit the frame. So, starting straight off the bat, I think the Quick Twitch is just built more to suit my race bike compared to the Killer Buzz, just with what I put on the hub. But once we get through the specs, we should be able to make a decision. One thing I did forget to mention with the Killer Buzz, I have upgraded the driver. This is the driver. This is the aluminium driver. I've just upgraded that to the chromo. So it does actually make it sound a little bit louder as well because it's a harder material. But it's just nice to know for anyone that's heavy, putting a lot of force through those pedals. I'm nearly 90 kilos. Don't know what that is in pounds. But that's a lot of force, so the stronger driver upgrade was necessary for me, but I believe these are $70 US to upgrade to, so worthwhile investment. Okay, let's get into the side-by-side. The weight of them, the Killer Buzz is 400 grams, the rear, and the Quick Twitch is about the same at 400 grams. Points of engagement. This has 72. Quick Twitch has 120. So a bit better engagement, but still the same thing. You're never going to get to the perfect spot that you want, so you're just going to have to slide your wheels. So therefore, it doesn't make too much of a difference until you get to the infinite engagement hubs. So really, for that, so far, nothing really bothers me between the either. Okay, and the axle options, this one has 20 mil, so it fits into the rear hub, the rear of the frame perfectly, because it's got a 20 mil at the back of the MV. And this one's 15, add the spacers, wouldn't even know the difference. Okay, now the big difference between the two is the systems. This one has the worm drive, and this one has a Paul ratchet system. Okay, so the worm drive system is, I feel like, a little bit more simple, but a little bit more foreign to everyone else, because everyone's either used this one or the infinite engagement. So this one, it's got the worm drive, which is almost, when you're accelerating, it's pushing it straight into the teeth for a very reliable connection, because you're not relying on the springs like in the Paul ratchet system. You're relying on the springs to push back to engage. But for this, once you start moving forward, you just pedaling forward is just going to drive the driver into the teeth. So very reliable and nice to know, peace of mind while you're riding with this. And the Paul ratchet system, you just have the springs pushing the ratchets back down for it to engage when it's free spinning. The negative with that is if your hub gets dirty and the springs are full of muck and stuff, sometimes those springs don't work as effectively and you get some slips. But I've had a day of racing in the rain with these and just haven't taken it apart or anything. Dust eventually will get in there, but the few months I have been riding this, had zero problems with that, and I really don't expect it to have any problems anywhere in the future. Same as with this, just need to add some grease. It's very easy to pull apart, keep it nice and greased up, and that also softens the sound, but also just keeps it nice and smooth running. But so that's maybe the two systems. I feel like for reliability, the worm drive is a lot more connection, and also the worm drive is built for better roll-in resistance as well. But we can do a test later to see if there's actually that much difference between the two. And then last but not least is the price range. These ones retail for $4.99 USD, sorry, and these ones are $3.49 USD on the Supercross website. So really, these ones are a little bit cheaper compared to these ones, but this one you're getting a more reliable system, louder as well, has that awesome sound, and this one a little bit cheaper, more of the system that you've been comfortable you've known, you just know, it's very common, the Paul ratchet system, and yeah, still very reliable and strong. Use both of these for many gates and races, and both are a good choice. Just depends on what your preferences are. Okay, now what you've all been waiting for, the side-by-side comparison of the sound. Let's get into that. This is a close up to the sound of the quick twitch. Compared to the killer buzz. Very noticeable sound difference, but both sound pretty cool. Alright, let's do a rolling test. We'll put them into the bike and see what they sound like, and then do a rolling pass sound test as well. So this is the killer buzz. Let's get it up to some speed. Just look how long this will roll for as well. not a bad rolling time. So yeah, very loud, but I think that's what you expect for the killer buzz. And let's try the quick twitch. Alright, let's get some B-roll. Alright, let's get up to speed. Now let's see how long this thing rolls for. Rolling resistance on this thing is pretty good as well. Just doesn't stop. This thing's just too good. You gotta buy yours today. Supercross BMX. Alright, so I'm gonna give both of these a roll with just my hand. I'm gonna try to keep it as even as possible. Now, let's see which one rolls for the longest. Well, there you go. That surprised me a little bit. The quick twitch rolling is just super good. The bearings in there are amazing. But that doesn't dim the light on the killer buzz. That rolled pretty well as well. I think from the noise and the way it's clicking, that reliability that it has, bouncing through the clips, bouncing through the teeth, just adds that little bit of resistance when it's going at that slower pace. But when we're going in fast, rolling at speed, they might be a little bit different. But this is just a little basic test. But yeah, I think it would be the test would have different outcomes on the track, but hard to measure that. But they both feel awesome around the track, and yeah, that quick twitch might have rolled for a little bit longer, but there's really not that much difference there. Alright, this is the GoPro's point of view. A little bit better sound quality, I believe. The killer buzz, definitely overpowering. You can definitely hear that over any other hub at the BMX track. Alright, so we're gonna go do a pedal test now, see what it sounds like while riding it on the street. But of course, gotta put my Supercross socks on. Can't ride my bike without them. Pedal faster. Let's go. Look at these whips, the machine bars. Just another thanks to Supercross BMX for looking after me, and I hope you got something out of the video. So my conclusion is I lean towards the quick twitch, just because I'm set it up more for my race bike with the carbon rims, but overall they're both really amazing hubs, and yeah, both of them get used. One's on my training bike, one's on my race bike, and to be honest, not that much difference when you're on the track riding. The only difference is the sound. Hopefully like the sound of it, which one would, let me know in the comments which one you prefer sound wise. Let's go. Have a good one. See you in the next one.